Perfection. What exactly is perfection, and why is it that we always think that we're not perfect? People will always tell you nobody's perfect. But is that just their assumption? Nobody has actual factual proof that you're not perfect. Being perfect is a state of mind. It's not something that can be proven. It's just like anything else that we try to manifest in our daily lives. If we say, hey, I really want to be able to do this now, or I want to think differently, I want to be able to have these emotions and share unconditional love with people, or I want to reach my higher self, or find enlightenment, or anything like that, if we hope to bring that to ourselves, then why can't we bring perfection to ourselves? All it really is changing our view, our thoughts on it. We'll walk around all day and we'll say, oh, look at this mole on my hand or my arm, my leg. And we'll say, oh, I'm not perfect. But you are. Your whole body, no matter what you look like, no matter who you are, is a work of perfection. Even though these bodies are broken, they can break down and we can die. And we have all kinds of things happening. We're burping, we're farting, we're sneezing, we're doing all these silly little things that you would think that are imperfect by design, but they're not. They all do something. A sneeze gets out things that it's supposed to get out. A fart gets out things that it's supposed to get out. Sometimes we don't want to have to deal with the repercussions of one, but it's an important part of our body that it has to happen. The thing is that we actually sit here and we say that I'm not perfect because of this on my body or the way I look or my height or my weight. But all that really is that we're judging our perfection on what other people believe to be perfect. Now, obviously, if you look in the mirror and you're overweight and you're not happy with yourself, yes, you should try to correct it. If you're content with it and you don't mind being a big person, then be a big person. But if you sit in the mirror and you say, I'm not perfect, even though I'm comfortable with my own weight, but I'm not comfortable with it, I'm not perfect because people tell me I'm not perfect because of this weight, that's the problem. See, the thing is, we all know, deep down, we all know certain things are true about ourselves, but we're afraid to admit it because of what other people's opinions may say about it. And a perfect example of that is, I am perfect. If you walk around telling anybody, I am perfect, they're going to look at you as being an egotistical a-hole. They're going to say, well, either they're going to tell you point blank to your face that, no, you are not perfect, and they're going to give you many reasons. Or they're going to say you're out of your mind and nobody's perfect. But the thing is, it's all based on opinion. I'm not saying you should say to yourself over and over, I am perfect, and go around and try to act like you're better than everybody else, because that is not perfection. That is error. But to feel perfect, to understand and feel it in your body is no harder than to understand and feel any other emotion. The thing is that your higher self, whatever you want to call your higher self, whatever you want to categorize that as, is the most perfect example of you, of your essence, or whatever you want to call it, of your source. So if your higher self is perfect, then you yourself have to be perfect as well. Because your higher self is you. Your higher self is your intuition, your gut feeling, your guide through life. I've said it before. You've got your good angel and your bad angel. Well, your good angel is your higher self. It may be, some people will believe it's from this source, or it's the angels looking out for you, or it's this, or whatever Eckhart Tolle said this week, or whatever. But what it boils down to is that your higher self is perfect, and your higher self is just as much as a part of you as your wart on your hand. It's just as much a part of you as any other part of you. Everybody thinks that they have to reach this higher self. Well, me personally, you already are your higher self. You just haven't figured it out yet. I think that a lot of people make it too hard to understand what it truly is. But what I'm getting at, the perfection thing. I know while I'm sitting here making this that I am not perfect. But when I sit and I think about it, I ask myself, but why am I not perfect? And the reason that I come up with is because of what others would categorize perfect as perfection as. So then I take what I think society would want perfection to be, and I use that in my own reasoning to judge my own self, to tell myself that I'm not perfect. But when I sit here and I try to come up with a reason why I'm not perfect personally on my own level, I can't think of anything. I've got a beer belly. I don't even drink, but I've got a belly. I swear more than I probably should. I'm not a perfect is what I'm getting at. I do all kinds of things. I am not a teacher. I am not your higher self, role model. I'm not that. Or maybe I am. Because again, I'm just using society's peer view on that. But what I'm getting at is I'm not perfect by standards of society, but I feel perfect in me because I know who I am. I understand more about myself now. I get that this is who I am. Yes, I can try to add to myself to make it better, to make myself better. But there's nothing wrong with adding to perfection. Something can be perfect, and then somebody could come along with a better idea to make it even more perfecter. I don't know if that's the word, but what I'm getting at, folks, is that we sit around and we judge everything ourselves off what we think other people will judge us for. And that's just sad. You are perfect. You wake up every day and your body works. It just works. Yes, you're farting, you're sneezing, you're coughing. You may even be dying of a horrible disease, and I feel for you, and I love you, and I pray that it will get better. But it doesn't mean that imperfections can't exist in perfection. The more that we sit and we wait and we examine what it really means to be perfect to ourselves can open up so many doors for you. If you continue to allow society, your friends, your family, complete strangers tell you what perfection is on a peer level, on a societal level, or even if it's just one friend, even if it's your closest friend, your closest, your lover, your husband, your wife, your child, whatever, in the end, even if they say, hey, I love you, but you're not perfect, they don't understand what the perfection is that I'm talking about is. And hopefully they'll figure it out someday. Because they're just basing their perfection levels off what everybody else has always said. So even though they love you and they say that you're not perfect, as long as you feel perfect inside your own self, you know that it doesn't really matter what they say. It's definitely good to have constructive criticism. It's definitely good to have relationships where friends and family and relationship lovers can, be honest with their mate. But we can't keep allowing other people's judgments or other people's way of opinion and thinking affect the way that we think about ourselves. If you know, I know every single one about you. Maybe it's the smallest thing, but each one of you holds perfection somehow. Each one of you can do something perfectly. Each one of you. It may be what you do at your work, or it may just simply be that you are the best shoe tire you've ever met. Like, you always tie your shoe correctly. I am 50 years old and I still can't double loop. So I am not perfect when it comes to tying shoes. But I bet you that there's somebody out there that is. There's somebody out there, every single one of us has a perfection that we've nailed. If we can nail that perfection from, like I said, whatever it may be, then why can't we understand that if we are able to perfect that scenario, why can't we feel that we've perfected our own scenario, our life, our experience? The only reason that you don't feel perfect is because others have told you since the beginning that nobody's perfect. And that statement, in my opinion, is not true. I think perfection is all around us and inside of us, and we just have to wake up and see it. I think so above, so below is one of the truest statements, and we've all heard it. But if that is true, above is perfection and below is imperfect, that doesn't make sense. I understand that people say, well, we're trying to go from below to above. Above is already within you. It's identical. We are above already. We just haven't seen it. We are our higher selves already. We just haven't seen it. There's not a book, a movie, there's not a method or anything that you can buy online. There's not an Eckhart Tolle book. There's not I'm not trying to just pick on Eckhart, but there's nothing out there that can tell you, because I can't tell you. These videos can't tell you. None of these videos, none of your higher self videos, none of them, old or new, none of them can tell you how to get to your higher self, because you don't need to be told. You're already there. And your higher self is perfect. And so are you. But you have to believe it. I know it sounds selfish. I know it sounds egotistical to walk around all day saying, I am perfect. But you walk around all day saying other things that you've learned from all these great teachers and masters and say, today I am peaceful. Today I am going to attract that new car I want. Today I'm going to do this. Today I'm going to love the world and love others. Why can't you throw in, today I am perfect? There's no reason you can't. The only reason you won't do it is because you're afraid of what other people will think. Even when you're saying it in your own mind, you're afraid of what others will say when you say to your own self, I am perfect. You have to change that. So above, so below. This was just a quick rant. I love you all. Walk in light.
Until next time, my friends, I ask all people everywhere to plant seeds of love, peace, joy, and oneness.